Hey guys, YouTuber 100 here. Alright, now here I am now to begin these Halloween horror movie reviews for this year. Yeah, and like I said, this year I'm just basically going over like a lot of the popular horror films I really haven't covered yet. Yeah, and like I said, this is really going to be like going over just like pretty much like the line of horror films, well, a lot of them, like between like the 1960s through the 1980s. Yeah, and I'm not really going to be like reviewing them in like a particular order. Like I'm not going to review them like chronologically from like the earliest one to the oldest one or anything like that. Yeah, I'm not doing it in any particular order. Yeah. So to start it off, this is going to be a review for The Evil Dead. So yeah, so this is like a one of the this is like a pretty popular horror film amongst people. Yeah. And this film was released in 1981. Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, and prior to actually making this review, I haven't, I never have actually seen this film before. Yeah, so prior to actually me watching it to make this review, I had never actually seen this film before, so I really wasn't too sure what it was about. Yeah, so going in, I really wasn't too sure what to really expect with the film. Like from what I had heard about it, it was like a pretty violent film, but I wasn't really too sure like what exactly did happen in it or what the premise was. Yeah, and so yeah, and I did give this film a watch, and yeah, the premise of this film it really is just like pretty simple. All it really is about is it's about like uh, this group of university students that are vacationing in an isolated cabin in Tennessee. Yeah. And during their stay at the cabin, they just like see like how like there's like a whole bunch of like stuff going on. It's like the place is possessed or something. And yeah, we're not really too sure exactly what is going on. And then yeah, then like throughout the film, it is like shown how like apparently like uh there's like this legion of demons and spirits that are like possessing the area. Yeah, and then yeah, then throughout the film, it just shows how like uh, four members of the group end up like getting possessed by the demons, and yeah, and just like one by one, like they get possessed, and then yeah, they end up like just going crazy. Yeah, they just end up like going like crazy and stuff, and then yeah, then just like one by one, they get like killed off, and yeah, and this film just yeah, it is just like very violent and brutal. Just yeah, in this film, like yeah, just like it really does take advantage of like the horror genre, and yeah, it is like just like very like brutal, violent, and bloody. Like some of the things that happen in this movie, like you've got like there's like things like dismemberment, decapitation, stabbing with a pencil, uh, uh, gouging of the eyes, and just like all this other violent stuff that happens, and just oh man, it is just so freaking brutal. Yeah, so this is definitely like a pretty violent horror film. Yeah, and it is honestly like pretty like creepy to see like all this like supernatural stuff going on. Yeah. So yeah, so this film was like under the direction of Sam Raimi. Yeah. So yeah, so I'm sure like a lot of people these days really do know Sam Raimi most for the Spider-Man trilogy, but yeah, this is really to show like how Sam Raimi really did have like another side to him. Like Sam Raimi could just be like he could have just like make some like really like crazy films like this. So yeah, so that was really like the best way to describe this film. It is just like brutal and crazy to be honest. Yeah, so the film really does just like feature like the group of students in the film. Like it stars Bruce Campbell as the main member of the group, Ash. Oh, and then yeah, there's also like Ellen Samwise, Richard DeManicore, Betsy Baker, and Tressa Tilly. Yeah. So yeah, and it really is just like yeah, they're really just like the only characters in the film. Like we never do actually see like any of the demons on screen. Like a lot, like whenever like it shows, well, we do know like the demons are out there. It really just like show them from like point of view. Like we don't actually like see the demons by themselves before they actually do possess the uh, group. So yeah, so in a way that can kind of like make it scarier when you don't actually see the monster. You just can kind of like you know it's there, and you are kind of like seeing it from the point of view of the monster, but you don't actually see the monster itself. And in a way that can actually make it like even scarier when you don't actually see the monster there. Yeah, because yeah, a lot of horror films really have done that where you don't actually like see the monster, but you know it's out there, or you just see them from their point of view. Like they did that a lot in the original Friday the 13th movie with Jason's mother. Like we don't actually see her till the end of the film. Yeah, and of course, like in the first Child's Play, like they did that a lot with Chucky in like the first half of the film. Yeah, and even like in some other horror films, like it happens like that as well, where you don't see the monster, but you just like know it's out there. So yeah, so not seeing the monster like can really like kind of make it scarier in a way. But yeah, this film like I said, it really does take advantage of like the horror genre and really make it like a very violent film. So yeah, so if you're really like into like very like brutal type of horror films where you really just do see like a lot of gore, violence, and blood, then this film is probably like up your alley. This is probably like one of the horror films that really is for you. Yeah, but yeah, I do think that overall this film it is good overall. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is like very brutal, but yeah, it really is just done like very well, and it really does like really take advantage of like the supernatural stuff. So yeah, so I just really don't know what else I can really say about it. It is just like very like creepy and very brutal and violent. So yeah, so I guess I'd probably give the film probably around like 3.5 stars out of 4. So yeah, so there's really not really like a whole lot to talk about with the film. Yeah, what I've really just said basically covers it. Like I said, it really just has like Bruce Campbell as the main character Ash, along with his girlfriend Linda, his sister Cheryl, his friend Scott, and Scott's girlfriend Shelly. And it shows how like I said, they're vacationing at a cabin in Tennessee, which is like very isolated. And then it shows like how they have to cross a bridge that is like very like fragile and can really just like very unstable. Yeah, yeah, and it shows how like when they get to the cabin, like how like a lot of stuff is really just like moving on its own, and it just seems like very possessed. And there's this one point where like Cheryl is like drawing a clock, but the clock just like ends up stopping, and then you just like hear like a demonic voice, and you just like you see like a whole bunch of stuff going on. Hanya. Then at one point, like the cellar trapdoor just like opens on its own. Yeah, yeah, and then the group then eventually like finds a the Net Neturum Demento, which is like a Sumerian version of the Book of the Dead, and then they like are listening to like a recording from a tape recorder. Yeah, and then after like listening to like some incarnations, like it then like shows like there's like and then eventually like a tree branch just like breaks into one of the windows in the cabin, and then as like Cheryl then went out to investigate, it then like showed how there were like these like possessed trees that had ended up attacking her. Yeah, so this was really like the first sign of like you really just don't know what really is going on, and how like this whole forest is really possessed. Yeah, then later on, like as a Cheryl then like just wants to leave and go back into the town. As a Ash is like trying to take her home, it shows then that just the bridge is destroyed, so they're basically just trapped there. Yeah. Then yeah, later on it then like shows how and then Cheryl like ended up just like she succumbed to the entity, and then it showed how just she was possessed and just like speaking in a very like demonic voice, and then she ended up just going crazy, and then she ended up like stabbing Linda in the ankle with a pen, and then you just like saw like just the blood flowing from her ankle. So yeah, so there's some violence like that in this movie. Yeah. Then eventually then they were able to just lock Cheryl in the cellar. Yeah. Then as they were like trying to wonder what to do, and like it then like showed how Shelly was then in her room, but then as she was looking out the window, it showed like again there was another demon from showing just from the point of view of the demon, then crashing through a window and attacking her, and she ended up being possessed, and then yeah, then as she was like attacking like a Scott, he then just like threw her into the fireplace and then stabbed her with a Sumerian dagger, which ended like she ended up like killing her at first, but then yeah, then she reanimates, and then Scott then just like dismembered her. Yeah, so yeah, that was another thing I was talking about. Like it film's just like really violent, like you like stabbing to the ankle and like dismemberment like this. Yeah, and then as Scott then like ended up like just like eventually tried to leave and find a way back to town, but then it showed then how like he ended up being attacked by the trees as well and was mortally wounded. Then eventually like Linda ended up being possessed as well. Yeah, then she like was about to like attack Ash, but then and yeah, then Ash ended up like stabbing her, but then as like he tried to like bury her, she then like revived and tried to attack him again, and then Ash decapitated her with a shovel. Yeah, so more violence like that. Just yeah, dismemberment, decapitation, and like a stab to the ankle. So yeah, oh yeah, and yeah, then eventually then Cheryl escaped from the cellar and tried to attack Ash, and then Scott also ended up like reanimating possessed as well. And then as they were like trying to attack Ash, Ash then ended up like knocking the Demento to the fireplace, which caught it on fire, and then Ash ended up uh, gouging Scott's eyes. Yeah. Then eventually then Ash then threw the Demento into the fireplace, and then as the book then burned, it then just like showed how like all the uh possessions then just ended up decomposed. But yeah, the decomposing of the demons really just like that stuff really doesn't look very good, especially seeing it now. I mean, it really just looks like clay as they're decomposing. So yeah, that's something that admittedly doesn't look too good today. Yeah, I'm not sure like how good it seemed back then, but yeah, now looking at it, yeah, it's pretty cheap and really doesn't look that good at all. Yeah. Yeah, and then then eventually then Ash then when Donna rose, Ash then like tried to walk off from the cabin, but then then the movie ended just showing like there was another demon from the point of view, just moving like through the forest, and then uh rushed through the cabin, and then you just saw it like approaching Ash, and as Ash was screaming, it just cut to black. So that's how it ended. So yeah, so it really did just like leave you wondering like what happened next. I mean, is Ash dead now? But yeah, of course, like there was a sequel to this film, Evil Dead 2, which expanded on it more. But yeah, but I'm not actually going to review Evil Dead 2. Like I forgot to mention, like in these reviews, there's some of these movies I'm going to be reviewing in these reviews. Some of them do have sequels, but now, I'm not actually going to be talking about any of the sequels to these films. I'm really just going to stick to like the original films in these reviews. So yeah, so there won't be any reviews of any sequels to these films in these reviews. So yeah, but yeah, this overall it was a pretty good film. Like I said, it really does take advantage of like the horror genre, and it really does have some pretty brutal and violent uh, things that happen in it, such as the dismemberment and the stabbing and the decapitation and all this other stuff. So yeah, so if you really are into like a lot of like violence and gore and horror films, like I said, this film will probably be up your alley. So like I said, I would give the film probably 3.5 stars out of 4. So yeah. So if you're into that stuff, then I guess I would give the film recommendation. But yeah, if you are like someone that really is kind of like squeamish and not really like for that kind of stuff, then yeah, this film definitely is not for you. So yeah, so it really just comes down to what you can really take. Yeah, so that was really is like what it comes down to in terms of recommending this film. So yeah, so that's my take on it. All right, so yeah, so I guess that's all I can really say about it. All right, so this is also for my review of The Evil Dead. So I hope you guys did enjoy this review, and stay tuned for more of these horror movie reviews coming all through Halloween. All right, so yeah, but I hope you guys did enjoy this review. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.